everybody. Welcome to Monday Night Live in Lexington. You guys, our special guest tonight is Danielle Asher. She is a person who does twin flame readings here in Lexington, Kentucky. So we're going to talk about what are twin flames tonight. What is that like? There's a lot of people that don't even know what that is. So we're naming this show Ascension Today with Twin Flames by Danielle Asher. So Danielle, can you tell us what is a twin flame and what is that all about?
So a twin flame is when one soul is incarnated into two separate bodies in one lifespan. One physical being will carry more predominantly the masculine energy, and the other being will carry the feminine energy. And they're both carrying the same energetic blueprint, but experiencing life and expansion from separate perspectives.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right, that was good. Let's do a couple of shout outs here because we have a lot of people joining us tonight. I really can't see the feed on Instagram. If Danielle can, she can shout out to you, and hey to Periscope to you and Twitter to you guys there. But special shout out to Paige, Denise, hey, and Amanda, Tracy, Jennifer, Sarah, Margaret, Allie, Veronica, and Tasha Lynette House. Thanks for joining us this evening. Special shout out to Harlan and Junior Eads and Georgia Stacy. It's nice to see you guys. And I will see you guys on October 7th and 8th for Harlan Haunt Fest. So be sure and come out for that. Hey to Leanne Wagner and Steve Moss and Sarah and Christy, Tom Driver, Bernard, Knowles, thanks for joining, and Joshua Preston Wesley. Hi to Melissa Crawford, Devin, and Amanda and Kathleen. Thanks for joining us tonight. We really appreciate you watching. So that was a really good definition of twin flames, but I want to ask, is there like a finite number of twin flames?
Okay, so about that, a lot of people you'll read and believe that your twin flame is something that everybody has, and that it is literally your whole soul split in half.
Mm-hmm.
But that doesn't really make sense.
Can that make you feel incomplete?
Yes, but actually, from what I've began to channel, is that it's not split in half, and not everybody has this. This was all part of a plan for the ascension of the earth. When a twin flame comes into a physical incarnation, it is one soul carrying all of its experiences, but the soul is advanced. It is a mastered soul, and it has the ability to incarnate into two separate bodies during one lifetime at the same time. So it's not divided. It's not something that everybody is experiencing through every incarnation.
Okay, so there isn't a finite number then?
There is.
There is.
No, I believe that there is.
Okay.
Now, some people believe that this is what is called the 144,000 in the Bible.
Okay.
I'm not 100% sure about that, but let's see.
So channeling is a big part of this.
Yes.
And that's a big part of what you do.
Yes. So when the earth was first experienced, I guess it was a lower density, it was a lower dimension, and there was spiritual existence before there was physical body. Now, when you're in a soul, there is no concept of life or death. You just exist. This created separation because the higher frequency could no longer reach the lower frequency that these souls that had incarnated into this dimension were at. So this started the process of the unbalancing on the earth. It caused turmoil. It caused all this chaos to go on. They separated from their true, authentic, high frequency and began to experience duality.
Okay, so
instead
that
of
kind of
oneness.
threw a kind of the cog in the wheel at that point, I guess.
Right.
And so they've been separated ever since.
Yes.
Okay,
And
well let's look at, is this, I know a lot of people relate to twin flame, the term twin flame in the way of relationships, but isn't it more than relationships?
yes, it is a mission. It's a plan. The twin flames were set to come here in the beginning of physical incarnation. It started the plan of ascension. This was the way of creating life and death, where a soul was still anchored to its higher frequency, but the higher frequency could reach the earth.
Gotcha.
So they were there in the beginning. They lived through incarnations, mastered those physically, and then they came back at this particular time for the twin flame experience, because wholeness is the balance of all energies, all dualities, masculine and feminine. When you have one soul in two separate bodies carrying both more dominant polarities, there's going to be that attraction, that longingness to be whole. And it makes them be able to wake up. Now,
so you experienced this, and you're a twin flame.
Yes.
When did you experience this?
Well, I just had a random wake up about
how long ago?
2.5 years ago.
2.5 years.
I had no idea what was going on. Just everything changed, and I didn't become clear in being a twin flame until about a year ago. But that started a super speed ascension process.
Yeah.
And when you have the set number and so many on the planet at this particular time, all doing this, where we're all interconnected, this raises the frequency of everybody. It puts everyone into an ascension process, raising their frequency so that the earth itself can elevate back up to the fifth dimension.
So you're helping other people through twin flame readings,
yes,
to try to understand the process that's happening to them.
Yes.
Okay, let's do some more shout outs here. Let me free to put them in them. And hello to Joshua, Preston, Wesley. And let's see, Robin Wells has joined us, and Clayton Robinson. Michael James Moyer, it's good to see you. How are you doing? And hey to Sabrina. How are you doing, Sabrina? Cheryl Dalton and Samantha Taylor have joined. Mort Shirazi, how are you? And Amanda Kinney. And Yasmin Shadoon, thanks for joining us tonight. So Bernard Knowles says that he can definitely relate to the subject that we're going over this evening. Hi to Shelley Holden Brock and Barry Brenniger. Nice to see you tonight. Teresa Roughton, Michelle Wagner Durbin, thanks for joining. And like I said, Lauren Daniel, and you guys, if you guys have any questions at all for Danielle or for me, just type them in the comment section. The people that are tuned into Instagram and Twitter and my other page, on my professional page on Facebook, I won't be able to see those comments, but if you type in a comment, I always go back and I answer all the questions that are on there, and Danielle will be able to do that as well.
Yes.
So Bernard says, yes, it's weird, but then you just know somehow. Yes, absolutely. You just have a knowing about it.
Yes.
So when you had your awakening, we're going to call it an awakening, right? What were the symptoms like? Like, what happened to you to make you think, oh, my God, what is going on here?
A lot of synchronicity, a lot of things that I don't even really know how to explain. Very profound. It was just an instant understanding of things that I didn't understand before. But
can you give us an example? Was it like a psychic
yes
activity? Was it a lot of people will report loss of time and
yes
extreme anxiety or loss of sleep?
Yes, that if you are triggered into it by your actual divine counterpart, this experience will cause a recognition, a knowing, a feeling of being at home, a feeling of being very similar, having similar experiences, and the energy will just be different. It's so intense, it's different. There's a magnetic pull, and definitely a sense of loss of time when that first interaction happens.
But when Danielle does channeling like biblical verse, and so when you're channeling biblical verse, are you in a loss of time at that moment?
Yes. I start writing, and I don't even intend to write, but I just start figuring things out as I'm writing. I'm not even intending to write what I write. So
you're doing automatic writing, right, which is channeled writing.
Right.
And when you get done with that, are you like astounded at what you've written?
Yes, actually, mentally in my head as I'm writing it, I'm like, whoa, oh, that makes sense. Everything comes together. It's like I'm in the background.
Yeah. So the symptoms that we discussed earlier was like a loss of time, psychic activity,
yes,
and anxiety and the loss of sleep.
Mm-hmm.
So what does it mean for you in particular to be a twin flame, and how you relate to other people? Are you now part of the collective consciousness? Like, how do you feel about that?
For me, I feel, I feel a sense of,
more connected?
Yes, I feel a sense of purpose, and it's a different feeling of being alive and having something to live for. Some people have difficulty and are more attached to the connection if they are physically interacting with that counterpart. But for me, I know what this is about. I know that there's important things to be done. It's been a process of transformation, and that's really been my focus.
So what do you plan to do with the channeled writings? Are the readings more important to you now, and do you plan to do something with the channeled writings later?
Yes.
Or like, what is your goal through all this?
To go where the universe takes me, I guess. Right now I'm just trying to help other people and figuring this stuff out as we go. When this stuff happens, you suddenly kind of feel alone. You start to drift away from the people that you were so close with. It breaks everything. It breaks down everything that's an illusion in your life, and you have to regain your authentic self. So it's a lot of processes of being clear on things, and all of a sudden being in complete confusion and turmoil. And so,
do you think though that if like you're in ascension and your vibration is raised, that the reason you feel disconnected from everybody is because your vibration is higher or different?
Yes, it is. And you're seeing things from a different view. You're seeing it from a higher perspective. Your values change. The things that are important to you change.
So isolation is a natural part of it.
Right. And a lot of people,
as long as you don't let it get carried away.
It is for a while. But that's also coming back into yourself and learning how to reclaim your power and love yourself fully, and not needing outer experiences or people to define love for you. It's getting to know yourself again. But it just is a lack of understanding. A lot of people, when you're saying, oh, all these crazy things are happening, and you don't really have definite proof for it, and they don't get it. They're not experiencing what you are. So
because
you don't really
they're not a twin flame.
Right.
So, now, the people that aren't twin flames, are they complete soul? Or do we even know?
Yeah, everyone is a complete soul. Even a twin flame, you're complete in your own soul.
Oh, okay.
So it's not a divided soul, or I don't believe it's a divided soul in half. Like I said, I believe that it is the ability for one soul to be in two separate bodies, but not literally like it's been going around separate from each other all of its incarnations.
Let's check and make sure there's no questions. Hey to Cheryl Dalton and Greta Handshoe. So Joshua has a question. Is the recognition of a twin flame like the feeling you have known someone your whole life?
Yes.
When you just meet face to face once? Like your souls know each other.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And the eye contact is a very big thing. As soon as you contact with the eyes, it usually is when that loss of time and the energy connection is activated. So another really telltale sign of it is eye contact.
Oh, awesome. Hey to Barbara Bacon and Jamie Renee Conley. And hey to Anton. Let's see if there's any more questions. So Bernard says it works on so many levels. It's odd. She's definitely spot on. Good job, Danielle. Hey to Jessica McKinney. And hey to Jean Matthews McCatton. Nice to see you tonight. And Samantha Gillis. Brandon Boland, Carol Hall. And Bernard says there aren't many of us to talk to, but y'all just know when meeting. Absolutely. But then there isn't that, as some call, one of the chosen ones.
Yes.
So hey to Tammy, Simon Campbell. And Sabrina loves my Halloween backdrop.
Right?
Okay, get a good look. This is for October, you guys. So you get to stare at this during the rest of September and October. So hey to Tara. Nice to see you. It's been a long time. Glad you're joining us this evening. Special shout out to Willow Rose Ames. I absolutely miss and love you so much, and Autumn Law. Thanks for joining. It's been so long since I've seen you guys. So Samantha says, I've met several people and had this connection. Even as a child, I was told that I tell stories with my eyes. So eye contact is a big one for Samantha Taylor as well. So hey to Tammy Simon Campbell. Everybody loves my backdrop. Thank you. I thought it was so cool. I love my backdrop too. So Veronica Kennard says, so glad you are doing this subject. Just learned about twin flames a couple weeks ago, and she's been obsessed with the idea ever since. Well, this, Veronica, is the person that you need to get with, and you actually probably, Veronica, need a twin flame reading, I would say. So Joshua says, I remember meeting you, Kathryn, when you did a reading. We both made a remark that we felt like we knew each other. Twin flame, possible. I definitely felt this was the night I met my now fiance. I know this was where my heart and soul felt they were both home. That's awesome. So do you feel like you're at home when you meet your twin flame?
Well, I haven't met mine physically yet, but I've seen the person, and I still had that sense of this is home.
There was still a connection.
There was. You will notice that they embody they're going through the same lessons. They have the same qualities as you, the same experience as you, and they're usually holding the same values, on the same page as you. But at the same time, they embody that in which each is lacking. And this is because they're energetically connected. You're energetically connected to your twin flame. So it's pushing you to wholeness by going through this process of transformation. You're mirroring to each other that in which you need to become balanced.
So when you said you saw your twin flame or you connected with them, was it through like a channeling or through a dream?
So after my awakening, actually, he's a musician, but he wasn't a very big musician. And it was funny because after my awakening, I didn't know who this person was, but I was really drawn to a song. And it was one that I got through everything with for a while. And then a couple years later, there was another song that apparently he was in, and I did not have any clue that these were the same people. I went to go look up a video, and I was like, oh, hey, that's the one that's singing this other song. I'm going to go watch him. And so as I was watching videos, which he's very expressive about who he is as a person, it was like that connection was being able to be made.
So you felt that connection.
Right. And it was with the eye contact. There was one shot where he was facing the screen, and all of a sudden I felt like I was in a time warp. I had going through my head, I know you, I need to find you, and this intense energy just came over me.
Mm-hmm.
I was not able to sleep for days. I was questioning in my head, what the heck was this? Who is this? And I had twin flame pop in my head. I had no idea what that was. But
so that opened up a whole new book. I'm trying to find out what is this.
Right.
And let's see if we have any more questions. Hey to Jennifer Oliver. Thanks for joining. And Jennifer Renee Long. So Kathleen has a question here. When I first met my honey, he said, wow, I know you. I feel like I've known you before. And it was interesting that I recognized him as what I identify as a soul bond, because I felt his energy physically with my body and warmth with my chest. That's awesome.
Yeah. That's
so
amazing.
After almost 3 years, she still feels like that today. And I know when he's happy and I know when he's upset. So is that kind
communication?
Is that what the telepathic communication?
And you can feel each other's, and a lot of times it's not consciously, you're not consciously aware of it, but when they're going through something, you can feel their energy and take on their emotions even at a distance away.
So if you have something come over you that you feel like, oh, this is not my emotion, you better check in with your twin flame to see if something's going on.
Right.
So, hey to Doris McQueen. What if you meet someone and you feel strong feelings that you were together in another life? And she has had that happen to her recently. What do you do with that, Danielle?
Well, it could be a soulmate connection. You know, we have karmic relationships, which doesn't mean that they're all bad, but we have relationships with people that we've had connections with in past life. They're soul family. They are important people in our lives to come in and teach us lessons that we're here to learn. They're trying to mirror to us our lessons. So sometimes when we feel that strong connection, or that like you know somebody or they're familiar with you, it doesn't always necessarily mean it's a twin flame. It can be a soulmate, a karmic relationship.
How do you tell the difference?
I just say it's easy to know if you're a twin flame because you are going to be aware and on a spiritual mission. You will be going through a process of transformation, and
so it's not just a connection with somebody else. It's more than that. It's the ascension that's essential.
Right.
For both
and
people.
You're aware. And sometimes, you hear a lot that the masculine isn't as aware, that whoever carries the masculine energy isn't. I don't really know, but you are aware, you have a sense of purpose, you are guided by the universe. You are going to have things hitting you over and over and over again synchronistically, reminding you and putting that person in your path and validating you.
Gotcha. Let me check and see if we have any more questions. Hey to Mahala and John Philip Young and Ann Fisher Smith. That her connection was in Greece and it was ancient.
Wow.
So would you say that that's like a soulmate, or would you say that's a twin flame?
Well,
you would probably have to do a reading.
Right. I'd have to know more about the connection or read into the energy. You can get that kind of strong ancient feeling, but I don't know what else was going on in between it to really tell you what the connection was.
So let's talk about how you do the readings. Let's check our time because we're getting close. So what can somebody expect from a twin flame reading? I know that you want them to bring the name of both people for the reading.
Yes.
And then somehow you use your energy and clairsentient knowing to give the reading. Can you describe this to us a little bit better?
So I don't like telling somebody, yes, you are, you're not. This is a journey within and something for you to have a knowing about. Nothing I say will convince you. You'll still doubt, or you will believe and then doubt again. But what I do is, if you believe you're a twin flame or going through the experience and need a reading, I take both the names of both people, and I just tap into the energy of what's going on in the process of your twin flame journey, because it is, like I said, an ascension process you're constantly transforming and trying to reach a balanced state for union. So I just check in to see where you're at, what's going on with the counterpart, what's going on in your life, where this is going. And it's really about, a lot of people mainly come for a reading because they want to know what's going on, because there's separation. There's always usually separation, and they're wanting that union back.
Yeah, and I guess the union and ascension is like the goal, but so when they come in and they want a reading, you're giving them clarity on where they're at and
what
where
the
twin flame is at.
Right.
And how each of you are progressing towards ascension and union.
Yes.
Because you may be progressing at a faster rate than your other half.
Right. And usually there is, or from the other person's perspective. And a lot of times that's exactly what people need, is to hear, this is the reason that he's doing this or this and that to you, not talking to you, not communicating to you. There's usually a lot of hurt, especially with people that are in connection and going through the transformation process while physically knowing them. So I just give them clarity on what's going on with them, what they need at that time, where they're at in their journey, and what you're working through, what's coming up for you as far as what you're going to be working with next, and what the energy around you all is pushing you to do at this time.
So this gives them the whys of their situation.
Yes.
So before we end for the evening, let me make sure there aren't any other questions. Hey to Marissa and Angie. Samantha wants to know, what if you meet someone and you think they killed you in a previous life? How do you deal with that?
Well, that's probably a karmic relationship, something that's coming back to you for healing.
Do you do those kind of readings too?
I do I do any type of reading.
Okay.
I've just been, usually in this process, you tend to just find or gravitate towards other twin flames, so my readings kind of shifted to that because there's a lot of people in need. But
yeah, there's a lot of people in need because I don't know of anybody but you that does twin flame reading. And Kathleen wants to know, what's the difference between a soulmate, past due connection, and a twin flame? So if you can just go over that again for her. Past life connection and a twin flame.
Okay, so a soulmate is actually a different soul. It's someone that your twin flame is your soul. You are identical. You share the same soul. It's about divine union and a divine purpose. And the point of a twin flame is bringing back oneness, bringing you back to your state of oneness. It triggers that inside of you.
That's the ascension process. Right. From what I understand what you're saying, the ascension process is supposed to reunite the two halves into one, right? And the soulmate is a totally different soul, but how does it connect to you?
Well, and you can still have divine love with a soulmate. And like I said, not everyone is a twin flame. The twin flame concept was for a purpose of ascension. But a soulmate is, it just depends on what you're going through in the relationship, but it can be a lifelong partner, but they're usually people you've had lives with, that you've had relationships with, that are in a soul group with you.
So Joshua wants to know, can a twin flame be a parent? Is this limited to just a spouse, or can it be a friend? So can it be just anybody, really?
There's really conflicting views on that. My personal, I don't know. Who am I to say that it can't? It's everybody's experience and what your soul has went through and what you're here to learn and how you best will learn it to ascend yourself. So from what I know, most of what I've encountered is usually partnerships. Now, it can be same-sex partnerships. It doesn't have to be male-female. It's just the energies that they carry are usually more dominant in one than the other. But there are people that believe that it can be someone that is a parent or
a child.
Right. Now, I haven't really heard of friend, but there are some people that believe that it doesn't just have to be a romantic relationship.
What are your beliefs on that? Do you believe it can be any?
I really don't think so, because a part of this is even though you find wholeness within yourself, is the two coming back together in sexual union, combining the energies of oneness. I mean, that's the one time that the masculine and feminine, it's like heaven on earth, kind of, is when you sexually interact with another. So it's about working together, and being whole within yourselves, and bringing those two polarities together, and then working for a purpose of
bringing the vibration
up. Right.
So maybe the feelings that a person would have for a parent or a friend would be a karmic connection.
Yes.
And they would be feeling that.
Parents and friends, everyone that you encounter is here to teach you something. And so they're helping you. Everyone is helping you work through whatever you came here to work through. You just have to look at what your situation is reflecting to you.
Let me check our time and our questions. Hey to Jim Pioski and Lydia and Magnolia McCombs. So let me check these questions here. It was okay. Okay, we're caught up on all the questions. So I want to ask you, what is your future goal with this? Are you going to do some classes or some special instruction on this with people and teaching on it later?
Yes, I feel like I would love to help people go through this process, because I think there's a lot of misconception out there that can kind of do more harm than good when you're wounded and you're trying to heal. So I eventually would like to set up some courses to help better understand the process of transformation and help guide people through it. For now, I'm doing readings, and
you give some instruction with your readings.
Yes.
Yeah. And so if any of you guys are interested in this and getting a reading, and this is Facebook page, right?
Yes.
You need to go to the Facebook page, Divinely Inspired Readings and Healing Services, and like the page, and all the information that you need will be on there, but we'll go ahead and put the information and some links in the comments section after the show is over. And let me check and make sure there aren't any last-minute questions. Kathleen has a question. Is the duality what causes the challenges in a twin flame relationship? Being very much the same, both working on different things in this life, in turn completing each other.
Okay, wait, what?
I think it says in completing each other.
Well, duality is the problem in general, because our original state is oneness for everybody. There is no duality. It's just different sides. It's the perfect balance of everything. Everything is the same thing, just different ends of it. And we see things as separate. But
they're really not.
Right. And that's what we experience here. So, yes, when you wake up and you realize this, duality is a big part of the conflict, because you're learning how to rewire yourself, and you're having to basically tear and peel back all the layers of everything you've experienced in your life and rebuild off this new knowing that you have.
That is evolution.